Hello friends, it's Bill and you're watching Bill's Box of Sound. Thanks for coming back. And today I'm going to talk about the art of noise and how confusing they are. Let me just get into it this way. I originally heard them on a college radio station in like 1983. And I heard the track Beatbox off of this record, Into Battle with the Art of Noise on Island Records. I loved it. And I had to hear more. So I started buying singles and things like that. And eventually an album came out in the US called Who's Afraid of the Art of Noise? Now this is a Japanese CD copy. I don't have my vinyl anymore. Something happened to it throughout the years. I'll find it again. I tell you I will. Anyway, this group consisted of Ann Dudley, J.J. Jexelik, Gary Langan, Paul Morley, who basically had a lot to do with the Zang Tum Tum. That's the label they were on, Zang Tum Tum, and the whole marketing and design part of Art of Noise. And also for the first albums, Trevor Horn, the producer, was very tightly involved. A lot of Fairlight computer musical instruments, sampled Buddy Rich drums in a very techno beat, along with taking environmental noises and using them as instruments, and also interspersing piano and orchestra hits, and things like that. And I was really getting into it. So now, after Into Battle and Who's Afraid of the Art of Noise, they released a compilation called Daft, the Compact. And then Trevor Horn left them, and they started coming out with other albums, such as Invisible Silence, In No Sense Nonsense, Below the Waist. There was a limited edition album, Reworks of Art of Noise, which even had live cuts on it. And there was never any pictures of any members of Art of Noise except on this limited edition Reworks of Art of Noise. And that was on the back of that album. From the live performances, I would guess. So, another thing that was confusing is that they had a few more albums. They had something called the Ambient Collection. And the last album I saw them put out was The Seduction of Claude Debussy. But a couple of years before that one, when they put out the Art of Noise Greatest Hits, there wasn't just one version of it. Their Greatest Hits albums had, every single version of that album had different tracks, different versions. Let's talk about the US version, which is all 12-inch mixes of their best of songs. Then you had the UK or European version, which had both short and long versions. And there was also something that was packaged like a CD single. In some countries of the world, it was packaged along with the 7 inches. And this had all of the 12-inch mixes on it. But that's not the reason I made this video today. I also collect Art of Noise singles, mostly 12-inch singles. Let me show some of them to you. We've got Beatbox, the versions 1 and 2. Now this copy was seriously water damaged, but I was able to save the vinyl. We've got Peter Gunn featuring Dwayne Eddy, also water damaged. We've got the UK version of Legs, also water damaged. All the Art of Noise records are in one box. And we've also got the US version of Legs, different mixes. There was Paranoia featuring Matt Frewer, Max Headroom. And continuing on with legs, we've got Legacy. And I was entering these into my Discogs, and I happened upon this thing right here, Close Up. Now I've got a Japanese 3-inch CD single of this, which is kind of a let's say an oddity among itself. But I was starting to enter this into Discogs, and I found out that there are 4 different versions of this 12-inch single. Now, I sought out and eventually got to add to my water-damaged 4th version. I got the 1st version, and I got the 2nd version, and I got the 3rd version. Now, aside from my little post-it notes on the front, all of these covers are exactly the same, but the tracks on these are different. It's weird. Check this out. Here is the track listing for all of these records. Now here I've got them all arranged really nice. The first one, the second one, the third one, the 4th one. The first one and the second one, side A is the same. It's got the tune Close Up on it. Then, on the flip side, side B of the first and the second EP have Close Up Hop. And, by the way, the 4th one also has Close Up Hop on the B side. Then, finishing out the B side of the second 12-inch single is a 3-minute 51 version of Close to the Edit, shorter than the 5.5-minute version that's on the album. Then there's the 3rd one. Side A is Closely, Enough's Enough, and the flip side has Moment in Love on the 3rd one. And then there are 2 tracks that are similar titles, but the titles are not the same. The 3rd one's got The Time to Hear, You're Listening, and the 4th one has A Time to Hear, Who's Listening. Now, even though these have similar titles, they are the exact same song. But when you take a look at all of these and kind of play elimination, if you get just the 2nd and the 3rd version, you'll have all of the tracks that are on all 4 of these 12-inch singles. So, are you confused enough? I know I am. And there are even more Art of Noise tracks to be found. But I thought that the 4 versions of the single known as Close Up, being in 4 different versions with completely identical artwork, you can't tell which one's inside. So you got to go and find them on the internet or find them in a store and buy them separately. So I hope that I've confused you, because I know I've confused myself. And if you like what you've seen, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you want notifications, you know what to do. But thanks for watching. I had a great time. Hope you did too. Go listen to some Art of Noise while you're at it.